Hey guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be chatting about all of the romances I want to read in October. So I have a pretty big list of books because I am just like on a really good wavelength right now. I feel like really in the mood to read. Sometimes I have these weird slumps where I just feel like I don't want to read anything at the moment. But right now I'm like, I want to read everything. So I have a pretty good list of books to share with you and some new releases. So I'm first going to talk about the new releases on my list. I'm going to grab my notebook because I wrote everything down on here. But the first book I want to talk about is Wreck My Plans by Jillian Meadows. This is going to be trad published on October 8th. And I love this romance. This is a quintessential Christmas romance. It's absolutely amazing, very angsty, second chance. It's so good. And then I also have The Striker by Anna Huang. This is her new sports romance that I have been dying to read. I'm so excited for this romance. And I think it is a soccer romance, and that's all I really know and want to know. It's coming out October 22nd. And then I have Finding Hayes by Laura Pavlov, which is the next book in the Magnolia Falls series. I have no idea what this one is about. And it is releasing October 24th. So I'm so excited for all of these romances, and I just love new releases, and I'm so excited to read these. And let's get into the rest of my list. So the next book I have is If It Makes You Happy. I don't remember who the author is of this book, but I saw that Piece of Books, Jess, read this one, and it is a perfect fall romance, she said. She absolutely loved it. It gives Gilmore Girl vibes, and I'm like, if you say anything Gilmore Girls, I will read it. So I definitely have this on my list. I don't want to know too much about it, but I'm really excited to get to it. And then I have Killer of Mine by Alexis Grace, I think. This is a Why Choose like romance. I think it's dark romance, and I think it deals with like a string of murders, maybe, if I don't remember correctly, but I think that's what it is. So I really want to read some like spooky serial killer romances. Like, it's either like the switch for me. I feel like people are either like they read more darker romances for fall, or they read more cozy romances. I'm kind of like in between. I love reading both cozy and more fall, like spooky vibes. So I really am excited to get to this one. Then I also have Quicksilver on this list by Kelly Hart. This is a fantasy romance that I've heard so many people chatting about on Instagram. Tori from A Novel Life, she loves this romance, and this is a fantasy romance. The cover is absolutely stunning, so I'm really excited to read this. I read Requiem by Kelly Hart and really enjoyed it and was intrigued by more of her romances, so I am excited to hopefully get to this one in October. So I really want to get to When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker in October. This is a chunky romance, but I really want to get to some fantasy romances in October. I just love fantasy romances. They give me such cozy fall vibes sometimes, and this has been labeled one of the best romances of the year, fantasy romances, and I just really need to read it. I don't even know what it's about. It says, as an assassin for the rebellion group, Rave's job is to complete orders and never get caught. When a rival bounty hunter turns her world upside down, blood spills, hearts break, and Rave finds herself imprisoned by the Guild of Nobles, a group of powerful fae who turn her into a political statement. Crushed by the loss of his great love, Khan Vagar took the head of a king and donned his melted crown. Now on a tireless quest to quell the never-ebbing ache in his heart, a clue lures him into the capital's high-security prison when he stumbles upon the imprisoned Rave. Echoes of the past race between them. There's more to their story than meets the eye, but some truths are too poisonous to swallow. Oh my god, that sounds so good. So I am excited for this one, and I really want to get into my fantasy romance era again. I love fantasy romances, but I feel like sometimes you just get off track reading contemporary romances so like much personally. That's what I do, and then I totally forget about historical romances and fantasy romances, so I really want to get to this in October. Then I have Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. This is a friends to lovers romance where they are working, he's a mechanic and they're working on renovating a bus for her. And I've just heard really good things about this author. I still need to read, what's her most popular one? I can't remember it. I'll put it up on the screen. But this one I think is like friends to lovers and they work together on this bus. And I'm just looking for like cozy, feel-good romances for October. So I have this on my list and hopefully I'll enjoy it. Then I have Love Light Farms by B.K. Boris, and I'm actually currently listening to this right now. I've just been putting off reading this whole series for so long. I don't know why. I just haven't read it yet. So I really want to get to it in October and read the series and hopefully get to like the whole series before the end of the year. And this is a fake dating friends to lovers romance. She owns a Christmas tree farm and she has this like campaign going with this huge like magazine or media company or something where she like wins like a contest with an influencer, and she gets $100,000 cash prize and she might be able to save the farm from its financial woes. But she has to make the farm look like a romantic destination for the holidays. And she also lied that she has a boyfriend. And there's no boyfriend, and so that enters in her best friend, Luca. And I'm really enjoying the audio of this one so far, and I'm excited to finish it up. But I wanted to include it on this list because I really want to get to this series in the next couple of months. And I have Riven Knight by Devney Perry. This is a part of her motorcycle romance series. I've not gotten to the series yet, so I really want to get started on it. I only have like 3 of the books in the series that I've heard are like the best ones, so I'm going to start out of order. So this one says Genevieve Daly didn't expect to be standing in front of a judge on her 27th birthday, but ever since her life became entangled with a former motorcycle gang, she's learned not to expect anything but trouble. She's living in a tiny apartment above a garage owned by her brother, a man who loathes her very existence, and the father she met beside her mother's grave is as much of a stranger as Isaiah Reynolds, the broken man with soulless eyes standing beside her in front of the judge. Isaiah is her protector from the murderer at large in Clifton Forge, though, okay, so... Oh, it's like Marriage at Convenience. That's exciting. I did not know that. Okay, this sounds so good, so I'm excited to get to it. Then I have a spooky book on this list. This is a thriller. This, I think, is like 6 friends at a college reunion and an unsolved murder. So I think this also does have a romance in it, but it's not like the main plot of the story, of course. So I think there's all of these secrets being unraveled, and I've just heard it's really, really good, so I want to read it for spooky season. Then I have Black Hills by Nora Roberts. This, I really need to get to Nora Roberts' romances. I have this one and The Search on my list for October. So this one is a summer at his grandparents' South Dakota ranch is not 11-year-old Cooper Sullivan's idea of a good time, but things are a bit more bearable now that he's discovered the neighbor girl Lil Chance in her homemade batting cage. As the seasons change and the years roll by, the friendship deepens from innocent games to stolen kisses, but there's one shared experience that will forever haunt them. Oh, they find a hiker's body. Okay, so I think this sounds good. Okay. So she writes all romantic suspense romances. So I have this one, and then I have The Search on my list, which is another romantic suspense. And that one I think is on like an animal rescue center. Like the heroine owns like an animal rescue rehabilitation center with like all these different types of animals. And like I think a murder happens then. So I'm excited for both of those. I really want to get to Nora Roberts, hopefully in the next couple of months, if not in October. Then I have Northern Twilight by Samantha Young. This is the next romance in her Highland series. And this one, I think this is a friends to lovers second chance romance because they were inseparable as teenagers. She doesn't know what went wrong, and she's returning home to Ardnach to work in her mother's bakery. Only reminds her of the future she lost with Lewis. Yeah, so this is Second Chance. It's set in Scotland. This follows all of these characters in the series. This is actually the daughter from the first, like the heroine's So it is the daughter of the heroine from the first book of this series, and I love the series. It's all set in Scotland in a beautiful manor, and all the people in the romance books relate to the manor in some way. Like one of them is the owner, one of them works there, etc. So I am really excited to get to this one. I love this series, and I'm excited to be transported back to Scotland. Then I have Asking for Trouble by Joanna Darling. I still have not read this, and I need to. Joanna Darling just gives me all of the spooky vibes. Not that this series is spooky, but also like fall comfort vibes. I don't know why I like connect motorcycle romances to fall, because like the first book in the series, I'm like, that is so fall coordinated. Like I just think of it as being set in fall. So this one is a novella in the series, and I'm really excited to get to this one. This is about Boner, and I think it's kind of like a really fun story, and it's very fast-paced, I think. So I'm excited to get to this. Then I had to add Happy Place to this list. I need to read this romance by the end of the year, so I'm including it on my October list. So this one, oh yes, so they were in a relationship and they broke up, and now they're going on a trip with all of their best friends, and they fall back in love again. So I'm excited to read this. I love Beach Read by this author, and I really want to get to the rest of her backlist, so I need to read this. And the last book on this list is The Women by Kristen Hanna. This is a historical fiction book, and I normally don't read historical fiction ever, but I've just heard so many great things about this from Jess, from Tori, from Christy, so I just know I need to get to this. And this is a book that is set in the Vietnam War, during the Vietnam War, and it is about the women in the war and what they did in the war, but also how they were kind of forgotten in the war, that they were a part of the war, that they helped in any way. And so it kind of unpacks the trauma of that, and we follow a specific character through this story, and I've just heard it's devastating, it's very emotional, so I am excited to be emotionally destroyed by this book, but to also learn more about the Vietnam War. Like, I honestly don't know that much about the Vietnam War, so I want to also learn from this book, so I'm excited to get to it, and I am excited to bawl my eyes out, hopefully. Alright, well that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing me chat about all of the romances and books that I want to read in October. Let me know what is on the top of your TBR for October, because I would love to know, and I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in long conversations, oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you